All right, y'all, so good morning. And again, as always, I apologize for not being here today. But the first thing we're going to do is you're going to go through, take about, we'll say about 8-10 minutes max. Make sure you got that warm up done. Make sure you're working on it. Don't just wait until the answers go up, and then I will go through that here in a second, okay? So go ahead and take about 8 to 10 minutes, get that warm up done. If one of you can just pause this video for me for now, put the timer up for 8 to 10 minutes, or just check your watch, and come back in about 8 to 10 minutes, and we'll go through those, okay? And it's been 8 to 10 minutes. Man, I'm good. All right, so number 18 is what we're working on. All right, so it's talking about this graph over here. So now remember yesterday when we did this with 17, the graph that was given was the inverse, I believe. Okay, but this one is not the inverse. This is the actual j of x that's given here. Okay, so that changes your answers for a couple of these. Okay, so on what intervals is the graph of j prime positive? Justify your answer. So j prime is positive between negative infinity up here to -4, and then again from -2 to 1, because that is where our graph of j of x is increasing. Okay? So remember, if we were given j prime in the graph, then it would be where it's positive. But we were given j, so we're looking on the intervals where they are increasing. Okay? All right, so for number 2 then, we're looking at our zeros. So for what values of x does the graph of j prime of x equal 0? Well, that's going to be at our extrema, which on our graph was at -4, -2, and 1. All right, and then down here for number 3, we need your normal line. So remember, for normal line, we need the pot, the sot, and the sun. So our pot was 2, 3. So I got that because if I went over here to 2, we're going up to 3. Okay, so that's our ordered pair there for the pot. All right, the sot was given to us. J prime of 2 is going to be -7. So that's where I got that from. So then obviously the sun is the opposite reciprocal, so positive 1/7. And then we're just going to put that into our equation. Y minus 3 equals 1/7 x minus 2. All right, and then your answer to number 4. All right, the graph of a function g of x is pictured below. Find the limit as x approaches 3 from the right of 7 over 2g of x. Okay, so 2g of x, 3 from the right. So if I go to 3 from the right, that's going to be somewhere around here. Okay, which is roughly 3, 1. So then if we plug that in, it's just going to be 7 over 2 times 1. 7 over 2 is roughly 3.5. All right, so that is your warm-up number 18. Make sure you have all of those correct in your notes. All right, so now we are going to move toward your quiz review. That was your homework from yesterday. All right, so you do have your quiz here in a few minutes. All right, so we're going to start right here with question or problem number 1. Let me see if I can get my writing how I want it. Okay. All right, find the following limit and explain the reasoning that you used to arrive at your answer. Okay, so y'all, the first thing that I see here, okay, I recognize this whole process right here. If you do have your cards, you can get those out as well. I don't remember where mine are at. Over by my desk. But nonetheless, remember cosine 3 of x plus h minus cosine 3 of x over h. So clearly here, I can tell that using this, my f of x is cosine 3x. Okay, so now we're going to apply what we talked about yesterday in our chain rule. Okay, so just looking at the chain rule, if I do f prime of x, that's going to equal g prime of h of x times h of the derivative of h of x, h prime of x, okay? So inside and outside, remember donut and donut hole. All right, so our outside is cosine So roughly, I did try to write this out to try to explain it a little bit better than yesterday. So basically, we're doing g prime of the cosine of 3x. Okay, that's h of x, the whole thing. All right, times h prime of 3x. So g prime of the cosine of 3x is going to give me the sine of 3x. Sorry, negative sine of 3x. And then h prime of 3x, and it's not really 3x, like it's this whole function, okay? But nonetheless, the derivative of 3x is going to be 3. All right, so therefore I can say that f prime of x here is negative 3 sine 3x. Okay, so that is my derivative of that function. All right, and this tells me this is the limit. This limit represents the derivative of f of x, which is equal to cosine 3x, okay? And we know that the derivative, we already stated it up there, is negative 3 sine 3x. Okay? All right, problem number 2. So we are going to find the point-slope form of the equation of the tangent line. All right, tangent line, pot and sot, to the graph of f of x equals 3x cosine x when x is pi on 3. All right, so the first thing I see here is this is my function, f of x equals 3x cosine x. Okay, so right here, I am going to apply our product rule whenever I get to the derivative, okay? All right, so the first thing I'm going to find, though, is our pi. All right, so we're using pi on 3, so f of pi on 3. So that's going to be 3 times pi on 3 times the cosine of pi on 3. All right, well, the 3's cancel, so we get pi times the cosine of pi on 3. Cosine of pi on 3 is 1/2. So our f of pi on 3 is pi on 2, making our ordered pair pi on 3 and pi on 2. Okay, so we've got our pi. Now we want to find our sot. Okay, so for the sot, though, we do need the derivative. Okay, so product rule, so derivative of the first, so derivative of 3x is 3 times the second, 3 cosine x, plus derivative of the second, so that's negative sine x, times the first. All right, so if we just clean that up a little bit, that's going to be 3 cosine x minus 3x sine x. All right, and then if we're doing that for f of pi on 3, so we're going to do f prime of pi on 3. So it's going to be 3 times the cosine of pi on 3 minus 3 pi on 3 times the sine of pi on 3. And let's work our math magic. So the cosine of pi on 3 we know is going to be 1/2. Minus those 3 cancels, give me a pi. And the sine of pi on 3 is going to be the square root of 3 over 2. All right, simplify that out. That's going to give me 3/2 minus pi square root of 3 over 2. Common denominator already there. So 3 minus pi square root of 3 over 2 is my sot. So now we can write our equation using my pot and my sot. So y minus pi on 2 should equal 3 minus pi square root of 3 over 2 times x minus pi on 3. It's not very pretty, but it works. All right, problem number 3. Problem number 3, all right, they want to find the equation of the normal line to the graph of the function below when x equals -2. Okay, so again, to find the equation of the normal line, we've got to have the pot and the SOT so we can find the tangent line. All right, so start with our pot. So f of -2. Okay, remember we can write this out whenever we go to take the derivative. Obviously, this is going to be 3x minus 2 to the 1/3 power. You don't have to do that whenever you're finding your pot. Okay, so I'm just going to plug it straight in. The cube root of 3 times -2 minus 2. All right, so 3 times -2 is -6, minus 2 is -8. So we want the cube root of -8, which is going to give me -2. Making my pot, I plugged in -2, and I got -2. All right, so for my SOT, we've got to find our derivative. So the SOT is f prime of x. Okay, so we are going to have to use our chain rule here. So remember, our whole donut is w to the 1/3 power. Okay, our donut whole is 3x minus 2. Okay, so here we go. Bring that down. So take the derivative of the whole donut. So that's going to be 1/3 times 3x minus 2, and then subtract 1 to the -2/3. Then we got to multiply that times the derivative of our donut hole. 3x minus 2 is 3. All right, so right here, these 3's are going to cancel. So that's going to leave me with 1 over the cube root of 3x minus 2 quantity squared. Okay, so now we can substitute in for f prime of -2. So 1 over the cube root of 3 times -2 minus 2 quantity squared. All right, so 3 times -2 is -6, minus 2 is -8. -8 squared is 64. Okay, so we have 1 over the cube root of 64, which is going to be 1/4. So that is our SOT, but we need the sun. So if 1/4 is our SOT, then our sun is -4. So now we can write our equation. Y plus 2 equals -4x plus 2. Okay? All right, last one. At what point on the graph of the function f of x equals the square root of 3x minus 2 is the normal line perpendicular to the line defined by the equation y equals 1/4 x minus 3? Okay? All right, so the first thing that we see here, all right, is we're going to look at, I'm going to rewrite this, oh, a different color, sorry. Okay, so remember this right here is ultimately 3x minus 2 to the 1/2 power. Okay? All right, so this right here is just the equation of our tangent line. So our slope is 1/4. Okay, so let's chain rule with f of x to find f prime of x. So f prime of x is going to equal, bring the 1/2 in the front of 3x minus 2 to the -1/2, right? Times the derivative of the inside would be 3. All right, so let's simplify that out. Let's kind of clean it up a little bit. So this is going to go to the bottom with the radical. 3 comes to the top. So it's going to be 3 on the top and then 2 square root of 3x minus 2 on the bottom. All right, so that's our derivative. Okay, so we want to know at what point on the on the graph of the function f of x equals 3x squared to 3x minus 2 is the normal line perpendicular to the line defined by the equation. Well, we're going to use the same slope, okay? So it's going to be this, our derivative, set equal to our slope. Okay, so we're going to solve. We're solving for x here, so cross multiply. So 12 is going to equal 2 square root of 3x minus 2. Divide by the 2, we get 6. Square both sides, we get 36 and 3x minus 2. Solve from here, 38 equals 3x and x equals 38 over 3. Sorry, you can't see that very well. Okay, so that's my x value. All right, so at what point on the graph of the function is the normal line? So for the normal line, though, we want to use the equation of the derivative, all right? So I'm going to plug this x into my derivative to get my y value. Okay, so 3 over 2 square root of 3 times 38 over 3 minus 2. All right, well, we can do a lot of that in our head. 38 over 3, those are going to simplify. 38 minus 2 is 36. Square root of 36 is 6. So 3 over Lord, y'all. I didn't even mean to use my derivative. Look, done all that work. Didn't even mean to. Erk. It's our original. My bad. We're right here. F of 38, because we're plugging into our original equation to get the point. Okay, sorry. So that's the square root of 3 times 38 over 3 minus 2. So again, 3's cancel 38, minus 2 is 36, square root of 36 gives me 6. So our ordered pair would be 38 over 3 and 6. Okay? All right, so again, what you're doing today, so you are going to take your T3L4 quiz now, okay? However long that takes you, that's fine. As soon as you're finished with that, you will turn that into the sub, and you will get your T3L3 worksheet. All right, I don't remember how long the T3L3 worksheet is off the top of my head, but you will turn in that completed today before you leave. Okay, if you don't complete it and you work, your fingers to the bone from start to finish, that's one thing. Just make sure you stay on task. Once everybody is done with the quiz, every single person is done with the quiz, you may work together on your worksheet as long as your noise level stays tolerable for the sub and you are focused on what you're supposed to be doing, okay? Again, so sorry to be out, and I will see y'all tomorrow when I return. Also, I will be here after school Wednesday if anybody needs to stay to retake or make up anything. I will come back after Harper's appointment, okay? Alrighty. See y'all tomorrow if I don't see you this afternoon. And good luck on your match, Andy. All right, y'all have a wonderful day.